Hi guys, Creative Lori here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, I am a home stager and I'll be giving a how-to on how I got started in the home staging business. So first I just want to cover how and why I got started, and then we'll get into more coverage of how you can get started in this business. And there's a disclaimer. You might see my cats around at some point, and I might have to pause because I'm anticipating someone walking in. And so I'll have to pause it at that point, but just to let you all know. Anyways, so how I got started was, it kind of started way back when I was very young. I knew I was really creative. I won a lot of like artistic contests. And when my parents would go away, like run errands or whatever, and my sister was supposed to be watching me, I would stage the house. I would literally redo the living room, family room, bedrooms, bathrooms, dining area, and my poor parents, they were really cool about it and they let me do it. I guess I always had an interest in it and I always had a creative bone. And so all through college, I was a science major for the first portion of it, and then I switched gears to become a business finance major. And so I really didn't have a background in this, and I didn't take, I'm not an interior designer or decorator. I haven't taken any of the courses. I just jumped right in. I guess I had a bit of a knack for it, and it just all worked out almost 14 years later. So at the time that I decided to do this, I had a really great career and I was working in new home construction. I was a project manager. My career was very promising, but my home life wasn't so much. My mom became very ill, and I knew that my dad and I would have to care for her full time, the two of us, very quickly. And so I got a second job, and it was more like a part-time job to full-time because I worked every single night almost and the weekends. And I saved all of that money from that job because I knew I had to quit my job at some point, and then I would have that to kind of fall back on. Well, the market started turning and I saw the writing on the wall. The housing market did crash, and so there was major layoffs, one after another, and I kept making it through. But things were just getting harder at home, and I wanted to be there for my dad. And I lived pretty far from my parents' house, so I already had a commute, but I knew I was going to have to be there full time every single day. It was getting to be pretty difficult just for one person, and even just for my dad and I, it was very difficult. So I made the decision to go ahead and quit. I could have waited and I could have gotten a severance package, but it was the best decision I made, and it was an easy decision to make because we really wanted to take care of my mom at home, and that's what we did. So so now you know why. And how I got started was, so I quit my job and I had burned through my money, a year's worth of salary in like 3 months. What had happened was I was very careful, but I couldn't anticipate the medical costs that my mom was going through. Some of her medications were like $550 per medication, and she had 3 of those per month. Then she had some that were $375 a month. So I burned through my money so quickly, and I told my dad, I said, I've got to find something, but I'll find something very flexible to where I can be gone 1 day a week, and then a few hours for, I actually do the home staging, and a day or a few hours after, the day after I do the home staging. And so I pretty much decided that's what I was doing. And I was pretty naive to it all. I thought it was kind of like HGTV. You see those shows. I had no idea, but I did research it intensively. And I I thought I had it all covered. I thought I could, easily just jump on in, which I did jump in, but I had no idea all that it had entailed. So that's why I had to get started with home staging, was because I needed the flexibility of it. So now let's get started with how you're going to get started in the business. First of all, you need 3 major things. And first thing is you need passion for the industry, for home decor and decorating. You need to be a little bit creative. And that's something you can learn, and you can learn as you go along. It'll build. But I think you all know, if you're creative, if you've been a creative person, all your life. And so I think if you have a little bit of creativity and the passion for it, and then the last thing is tenacity. If you have got to be willing to keep trying and not give up, because you're going to get the door slammed in your face so many times, especially in the very beginning. So you can't give up. So if you have those 3 things, passion for it, creativity, and then of course tenacity, then you're going to do fine. I started with nothing, and the only thing that I really had was I had started buying some furniture just off Craigslist and things here and there. I already had a set, but my whole living room and formal dining was empty, so I needed to build that up, and that's when I started buying things. And then I filled up all the rooms, and I had some nice furnishings, and I had done that over maybe a year or so. And so the things that you're going to need are, the first thing, business cards. And the cheapest place I've ever found them was at vistaprint.com. And you get 250 business cards for $10. So that's a deal. And that's what I did. And I still use Vistaprint. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to order some catalogs online. Something like Z Gallery, maybe a West Elm. West Elm is kind of modern furnishings. Pottery Barn is going to be kind of like your Bible because it is so, it really, it gears towards the masses. It's traditional, it's modern, it's a little farmhouse. They really cater to everybody. And so it's kind of like a generic board of creation. So this is really actually a great way if you get stumped and you just don't know what to put in the bathroom or on a countertop in the kitchen. This is really a great way to kind of get ideas, as you can see. And I would get stumped sometimes. I just couldn't think of what to put in a corner somewhere. And why I like looking at actual catalogs are because I needed something like visually right there at my fingertips. And sometimes if you go onto the internet, one thing leads to another, and you're not really getting a clear-cut picture. And Pinterest wasn't as popular as it is now, as it was back, or it wasn't as popular then as it is now. So I still will fall back on these if I get stumped, because I still feel like everything that's on Pinterest and Instagram is beautiful and gorgeous, but once again, you have to try to appeal to the masses for home staging. So that's why Pottery Barn is like one of the best. So get a few of those, and you're going to put your name on the mailing list for them. It takes about a month to actually get a catalog back from them. So you have like a month lag time to wait around. But after 6 months, you're going to want to reorder them because your name will just drop off of the mailing list. And so it's always good to go back on there and put your name on there again and reorder it. Okay, the next thing that you're going to need, and by the way, that's free. Don't order any catalogs that cost any money. It's just not worth it. You're going to need to take some pictures. You're going to need to build a gallery. So with that, you're going to have to take pictures maybe of your own home, your friends' homes, your siblings' home, your parents' home, anyone that will let you kind of restyle or stage a certain area, and so you can build up a gallery of pictures. It's very important because clients will ask to see pictures of your work, and you need to have something. And that costs nothing. Then the next thing is you're going to need to start building your inventory of items. So you might have a household of furnishings that you're willing to use when you start staging, but you're going to need more. You're going to need a diversity of things. So I always say, start looking now, going to the Goodwill and thrift stores, Craigslist, yard sales. Pick up cheap pieces that look good, have a good form and style to them. And I mean everything from decor, fake trees, plants, florals, a couch if you can find one. I know that Goodwill does sell them for $22, and I have bought one there before. And you're going to get all of these things as much as you can with $90, because I'm giving you a $100 budget. I started totally on a shoestring. Now I already had some furnishings that I could spare and use, but I had to build upon that. So I had to get artwork and decor and rugs and all of that. And so we'll go more in depth in that in the next video on where to go to shop for, your inventory and how to get a good deal. But start thinking about that, and start thinking about, what you have and what you're going to need to get. Okay, the next thing is you're going to want to create an ad. So once you get your business cards in, and you've, obviously thought of a company name, and you get your business cards, and you have some catalogs, and you've been thumbing through them, and you've been buying some furnishings, it's now time to go onto Craigslist and create an ad for yourself. And you want to do it under the real estate category. And there's another one, I can't remember because I no longer do this. I have enough people that, real estate agents that keep calling me, and developers for work, that I no longer advertise. But starting off, you're going to definitely need to advertise. So Craigslist, and now you can do it on Facebook as well. So if you know of any other social media sites that you can advertise on, do it. The more exposure, the better. So then you're going to need clients. And we will definitely go more into this later, the next video, but you're going to need clients, and so you're going to have to start cold calling. And we'll definitely get more into that and the art of doing this, but you will definitely get work from this. This is how I started. This is how I got all my clients to start with. And then they saw the job that I was doing. They really liked my work. I was fast. I was in and out, and they kept hiring me. So I had a circle of agents that kept calling me, and developers and flippers. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the term flippers, it's people who buy homes for really cheap, and then they maybe paint and do some renovations very quickly, and then turn around and flip it to sell it, and for a big profit usually. So we'll go more in depth on that for sure, because that's a really important subject. The next thing is you're going to want to get some contracts. At this point, you will be an independent contractor. So just depending on whatever state you're in, I think it's safe to say across the board that if you're an independent contractor, you can work by the hour, and you won't have to get a business license for every single county that you'll be working in, because that can get really expensive, and it takes a while before you can get all those business licenses, and you might have to start a job in like 2 days. So this is how you kind of get around it, is you're an independent contractor, and we'll talk about contracts later. But for right now, you need to get some. I used to buy them at Office Depot, and then I would scan it and then save on my computer. But now they have online contracts. You go to them. There's a few of them. There's quite a few of them. And you go to your category, and you select like home staging, home decor, and then underneath that is like a subcategory, and then you'll find one that is specific to home staging, and there'll be like 2 that you can pick from usually. You're going to want to download that and keep it on your computer and reuse it, and you'll make changes to it also, like a little addendums with things that pop up that will save your skin later and protect you. So we'll talk about that later as well, but you need to get some online contracts, and that's free too, by the way. Then the next thing is, sorry, I had to pause again, is transportation. So you either need to have a van, a truck, a trailer that you can use to transport your inventory from where you're keeping it to your client's house. So I didn't have that, so I had to actually rent vehicles, and I found the cheapest were Ryder and then U-Haul. And so I did that for a very long time. But if you have a friend that you can hire and have them help you, once you get started, you probably will be doing a staging job maybe once every 2 weeks, once a month. But then as the springtime rolls around and you put your name out there, you'll have to have something more consistent. So that's why I say either if you have a truck already, or you can just rent a vehicle. And I found renting a vehicle was much better than buying one at that time, because I had no worries about if there was something going to happen to it, then I didn't have to deal with it. So transportation, you got to figure that part out. And we can go more into that later as well. And then the last thing, you need to have help. You cannot do this by yourself. You can get the job by yourself. You can buy inventory by yourself and even have things delivered. You can do the contracts and everything by yourself, and you can pack things, get it ready. But when it comes to loading everything, you can't load a sofa by yourself. You can't load dining tables and chairs all by yourself. You have to get some help. And so I would always ask a friend, and I'd pay them. And they were happy to get it. They were happy to help. They thought it was really cool. Excuse me. And so, yeah, that's how it started for me. I had asked family and friends. And then once I became really more consistent, I needed to hire somebody. And we'll get more into that as well. And then as you grow, I'll go more in depth on those videos, like what you'll be needing and all of that. But for right now, you're basically going to be working out of your home and using your garage or your inside of your home as your storage. And then if you have a storage facility already, you can keep everything there, and that's great. But those are the things that you'll need to be getting. You need to, of course, create a name for your business cards. You need to get some free catalogs for reference. And the catalogs are great too, guys, to help teach you about space. So think of that. And then you need to take a bunch of pictures for your gallery. And then you need to start building up your inventory of furnishings and decor and artwork. And you need to create an ad on social media like Facebook, Craigslist, so on. And then you're going to need to start cold calling your potential clients. Nobody likes doing it, but it really does work. So then you need to get some free online contracts and figure out your transportation and figure out who's going to help you and how much you can pay them. And that just really depends on the job, I think. Or you can pay a minimum wage or a flat fee. That's really kind of up to you. So guys, if you have any questions, leave all the questions down below, and then I will answer them in the next video. Depending on how well this video does, I might not wait a week before I do the second video that's more in-depth. I might just do one sooner. And if there's like a lot of requests for it, then I'll do it quicker. And maybe I'll do 2 a week where I'm really in-depth talking about each subject and going in-depth of everything from your inventory and where to shop for it and how to get it at a good price, where to go, where not to go, what to do, what not to do, all of the things. I will go more in depth for this business, and it's going to take a few videos, so I will be doing a series of videos. So leave your comments below. Please like and subscribe and share this video with anyone who you might think is interested in starting their own home staging business. It was certainly the best option for me and very flexible, that I actually only needed to probably do one job a month to kind of get me by. And that was so perfect. And then it kind of it built, you know, it got more, I had to do more and more, but then that was even better for me financially. So I think anyone can do this. And like I said, leave your questions down below, guys. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.